Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, what I have for you today is a melange, a collection of insanity. See, there's a fella named Brice Rhodes, and he is some man for one man. You know, I gotta give it to him. Salute. No one makes a scene quite like him, and you will see why, because there is many examples. Once again, we are going back to where we've been many's a time, the state where they love fried chicken so much they named it after their favorite restaurant. I haven't googled which came first, but the guy on the logo, he looks pretty old. And that is the city I'm scared of pronouncing because a lot of you in the comments will give out to me for it. This one. I'm wearing a shirt as wacky and remorseless as this case is. So now, before we get into it, please subscribe to see new videos from this guy every week. Always got new crimes on the way. And this is a bizarre one. So let's give it a go. In Louisville, our story is beginning in 2016. In the south end of that city, which I'm not naming again for fear of complaints, lies the neighborhood of Mich. People say it's nice, it's integrated, it's safe, and it's not too expensive. Happy days! But we're not going there for any of those reasons, so, sorry. No, instead we got a tale of, like, wannabe rap stars, you know, kids just trying to impress, and some pretty heinous actions. So, I mean, there's a lot to get into. And that's both in and out of court. Larry Ordway and Maurice Reese Gordon, 14 and 16 years old respectively, lived with their mother, Elizabeth Wren, in Louisville. They were in the same grade, in the same school. I'm not too sure why, there was 2 years in age difference, but you know, they were well liked. Larry, the younger, he was the football player and on the honor roll. Maurice, he was the musician. That May 2016, they were set to graduate 8th grade. But they wouldn't. On the 21st of May, a Saturday, the tight-knit brothers, they left their house in Beachmont. They said, you know, we'll be back in a bit. They told their mother, you know, they loved her, and they were out the door. And they would never come back in. Early the next morning, Sunday, 2 burned bodies were found on an abandoned lot about 10 miles away. As the crime was investigated, sketches were done to try and identify who these 2 people were. The only thing they really knew about them was that they were both young.
Those 2 fellas there, God rest their souls, but they're not familiar to me.
I didn't recognize them. No, not at all. It's sad. I have a young son myself.
Police say the 2 young men are likely teens.
They're kids, you know, didn't get to live a life, you know, and nothing is that bad. Nothing is that bad.
Police hope these sketches will help identify the young men.
There's no value in life, and it's mind-boggling. It don't make no sense.
Police are not saying how or where the 2 teens were killed, only that their bodies were found in this lot.
We can only wait, we can only hope, and continue to pray.
From the scene, the investigators were able to determine that the 2 victims, the two young victims, they'd been beaten, they had been stabbed, and then they had been burned, but the burning was rather unsuccessful. Soon after, you know, with those sketches released, a teacher at their school would identify them, seeing them on the news, and Elizabeth Wren, their mother, would come forward saying, yeah, those are my boys. Extremely tragic, you know, all round, that this happened. They were good kids, you know. They just went out one night to be with their friends. How did this happen? Well, Larry and Maurice became friends with, I guess, what would be the definition of wrong crowd. And that wrong crowd included Brice Rhodes, our star sack of shit.
In the trap like Kobe on the court. Caught a snot case, but I said fuck court. Caught a lean man, cause I need a damn court.
See, witnesses saw the 2 brothers head off with a couple of other people that night, and they were all like these wannabe gangsters. Elizabeth would say in a statement to reporters, My sons were trying to earn stripes in the blood gang, and they had to put in the work. If they didn't put in work, they were knocked off. And that's why they were knocked off, because they were scared to put in work. That's, not great, I guess you could say. But they were kids just trying to simply appear cool. Their grandmother would say, it was just a game to them. They just wanted to look like hard men, in Facebook pictures. And that was it, really. They didn't, mean it. And so the wrong crowd these two young boys were hanging out with, who be they? Well, witnesses would say to the police that they were 15-year-old Anwan Carter, 17-year-old Ja'Cory Taylor, and 25-year-old Brice Rhodes. Bit weird, he was hanging out with a lot of kids who were a good bit younger than him. There's a lot of weird about him. Yeah. He sounds like quite the predator from what Elizabeth Wren would say about him. Essentially, he would just drive around the neighborhoods picking up kids and, buying them clothes and buying them food and then putting them to work for him. I think that's the definition of a predator. See, one thing you gotta know about Brice, he didn't want to take part in the rat race with all the other rats. No. He was going straight to the top. How could anyone accomplish such a feat? Well, a rap career, of course. Meet Rambo.
I need a Panamera when I grace the streets. Sorta like Jimmy, but I don't play for heat. Life is a gamble when I play for keeps. Yeah, I chase dreams, but I ain't saying to me. Self-made on my wrist, so I'm saying to me. Audemars yellow diamonds in that bitch on fleet. Cali Plug Tunnel Gang, they gon' send them bowls. Ask my dog, I've been breaking down Tenamo.
He had the music videos, and I guess kids would be impressed by this. They thought he was hardcore and would make them famous, as part of his entourage. That he was the shit. But he was just shit. I've covered quite a number of people, and I'm racking my brains here, and it's hard to think about anybody else I've talked about who has the same level of self-obsession as Brice Rhodes. Turned out, though, that, unfortunately, the highways were jammed with broken heroes on a last-chance pair of drive straight to hell. Now, so listen to this, right? When you're on the web, you have no idea who's watching you, who's stalking you, what kind of weirdos you have looking over your shoulder. Well, weirdo, be gone with NordVPN. NordVPN is the online service keeping you safe on the internet. With a single click, your IP address is hidden, and you can be in any country you want to be. Can't access content in your location? Well, not anymore. Or rather, now more. And with my special link, that is NordVPN/thatchapter, you can get a special deal that is just for you. That's a mega discount on a 2-year plan, and also 4 months for free. And let's not forget to mention NordVPN's threat protection. With threat protection, you are safer than ever before against malicious websites, those dang dirty websites, pop-ups be gone, and trackers, no thank you. And to keep you even more secure, there's NordPass, a password manager that creates unique passwords for you and saves them. So not like me where I use the same password for everything. No I don't. And NordLocker, which keeps your files on the securest of clouds. So it'll keep you safe on the web, you're practically invisible, and you can be anywhere in the world you want to be. You're a superhero. You're welcome. Hopefully, a good one. So once again, use my link in the description. That is nordvpn.com/thatchapter to get a deal that is just for you. Cheers, NordVPN. Now let's get back into it. The police quickly tracked down the 2 other young fellas, Anwan and Ja'Cory, accomplices the police believed, and probably much like Larry and Maurice, just wanted to seem tough and believed Brice and all his bullshit. I mean, a 25-year-old hanging out with teens, it's quite pathetic, but I guess they were the only people who would actually be impressed by him. Both Anwan and Ja'Cory would confirm to the police that Brice was the one behind the 2 murdered brothers, and that he had forced them to participate in it and clean up the scene. It seems that night, Brice had all of them over to his apartment. Now, he lived in his apartment, he lived in his mother's apartment, but she was just out of town that night. Maurice and Ja'Cory, they got into a bit of a tiff for some reason, so Brice, he tied up both Maurice and Larry. He put Larry in the bathroom, and he tied up Maurice and basically told him to beg for forgiveness. And then he began stabbing him. Then he brought Larry out of the bathroom, who was tied up, who was duct taped up. Brice forced Anwan and Ja'Cory to also stab him, so they would be accomplices and wouldn't maybe say anything. And then he finished Larry off himself.
He made Maurice get on his knees and like beg for forgiveness. And like he put a toboggan over his head and he put a rag in his mouth. And then he stabbed. We moved Maurice to the side and we brought his brother and we put the toboggan over his head. He put the toboggan over his head and put the sock in his mouth. And like started stabbing him, so he made her stab him.
He made y'all stab him? So you and Corey stabbed him too? Alright, how many times do you think you stabbed him?
I stabbed him one time.
They then burned the bodies, dumped them. He got Anwan and Ja'Cory to clean up the scene. And then they all went out for a bit of grub and he dropped them off. Just your regular Saturday night. All of them had known Brice for about a year at this point. So why did Brice do this? This is like the definition of a non-existent reason, but also kind of a reason. But also not. It's very messed up. But basically, a couple of weeks before, in early May 2016, Brice had been driving along and in the car was Anwan, Ja'Cory, Larry and Maurice. As they were driving, Brice saw this guy just walking on the sidewalk. So as he was driving, he stopped the car, he jumped out, he went over to this guy, and he shot him dead in the head. The guy he just murdered he was named Christopher Jones, a perfectly innocent man just walking along, minding his own business. That case was actually unsolved until now. So that was obviously shocking to the 4 kids who were in the car. But Brice, the reason he did that wasn't for like no reason at all. It was a case of mistaken identity. See, Brice saw this guy and there was like a hit out on a guy who looked kind of like him. So Brice went over, killed him, and thought he was going to get the bounty. He got some randomly innocent lad. So Brice is also an evil friggin' Egypt. The 2 brothers, Larry and Maurice, they were scared shitless by this. And, maybe they started having doubts about this whole gangster lifestyle that Brice was kind of foisting upon them. Because they just wanted to look cool in front of, in their Facebook profile. They didn't actually expect to see someone get murdered. And Brice, he started to think that maybe they were gonna, go to the police, maybe rat on him. So he killed them. Made sure they never would. Brice already had quite a lengthy record in Louisville. Yeah, get this, including beating his own mother, so that's like, get the fuck out of here right there. You got armed robbery, being a literal sex offender, intimidation, among other things. Wow, star pupil. And he was also wanted in nearby Indiana for domestic abuse. So the police, they actually picked him up on that domestic abuse charge while they got their ducks in a row for the what started out as 2 murders now became 3 murders with Christopher Jones. They wanted to, get all that ready. They were afraid he might make a run for it. He already had made a run from Indiana, so he might do this again.
Where they run away to?
Well, if we knew that, man, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I wish I could help, knew where they was, I don't.
So Brice was swiftly arrested, and he claimed to know nothing about the murders of Larry, Maurice, or Christopher.
You close with these kids at all?
They're cool. We play basketball. I'm cool with a lot of people.
Did you hang out with them on a regular basis?
They was cool. Yeah, we hung out different times, different times. I need a lawyer, man, if you're going to keep all in my face. I need a lawyer. I don't want to say, I'm tired of y'all questioning about something. I don't know where y'all getting at. What's going on. I just need a lawyer. I don't got nothing to do with nothing. If they did run away, I don't know where they're at. I can't help you. I'm hurt. I don't know where they at. Ask their mother.
Searching the apartment, Brice's mother's place, it turned out the kids didn't clean it very well and a lot of blood was still discovered. His car also, the one he used to transport the bodies, evidence was found. And witnesses saw Brice Rhodes, pretty recognizable guy that he is, near where the bodies would be discovered. Later, another young man would also be arrested in connection with the murders of Larry and Maurice, a guy named Tyrone Coleman. He was arrested and charged with the murders, but I actually don't know what he did. Was he there, or already how he was involved in it? So this is all kind of a prelude to the insanity of the court proceedings. Buckle up. Proceedings that are still going on, by the way, 6 years later, because Brice really does not want to go on trial for those 3 murders. Wonderful.
Spit on and threatened. A defense attorney says that is what happened when he told a high-profile murder suspect he'd no longer represent him.
But I'm definitely going to speak my mind.
Detective Tatelli and I have no sexual relationship.
Now I'm talking about you and the prosecutor over there, sir. Right. You denied all my motions. Every motion I filed, you didn't deny it.
I'm pretty sure I've denied the vast
every motion I filed.
Motions that have ever
Are you some type of racist? Or you got some type of sexual relationship going on? Which one is it?
Or are you just wrong in everything that you've made a motion for?
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
No, sir.
Is that what you really are?
No.
So less than a week after his arrest, Brice Rhodes' attorney had to recuse himself from the case. See, the reason Brice Rhodes' attorney had to recuse himself was that, well, he was friends with Brice Rhodes' mother, but he was also friends with the grandmother of Maurice and Larry, so he was like, well, conflict here, right? I can't take your case. Brice was not very happy when he learned that information. He began spitting at the attorney, and it led to this interaction. This interaction in court.
He says everything was calm, and then Rhodes spit on him. After Rhodes was led into the courtroom in his red jumpsuit, marking his protective custody, McLeod let him know how he felt about being spit on.
Nice cheap shot. You a coward. Nice cheap shot. You a coward. Excuse me.
I'll see you when I get out.
Next, he attacked an inmate in the jail, saying he would kill them like he did the others.
Brice Rhodes' list of charges keeps getting longer.
He'd also spit at the other inmates. Popular guy in jail, you know, no diggity, no doubt. In his next court interaction, he had to wear a spit guard, and he threatened the judge, saying he would find out where she lived.
Are you done?
No, I'm done.
You've been charged in the 4th degree. I'm going to keep talking because I don't want to have to see you back here for this.
What you think where you live at? What you think at? None of that. I ain't do.
So you're saying you're going to find out where I'm out?
None of that. You got something, I'll be out.
Okay.
Yeah,
You've been charged with assault in the 4th degree, minor injury, terroristic threatening in the 3rd degree, with physical contact. New charges. I'm entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Would you like me to read the arrest warrant to you?
No, I'm not guilty.
That was a threat against the court. I think that I'm asking the county attorney's office to take that into account and consider what to do with that.
He got further charges for that, saying, you know, the whole, I'll see you when I'm out. It's not a good idea, I think, to do that when you're already up for 3 murders. He continued to be a model inmate, throwing piss, attacking officers, and breaking shit. Later, he tried to dig a hole to escape his cell, so that's a few more charges for the big guy right there. Nice. He'd be digging for a while. They should have just let him keep digging. It'd be funny to watch anyway. You know, where are you gonna go? It's proper concrete. He would also send a letter to Jacory Taylor, you know, who was also in jail, saying, "Rats get exposed." Now, the reason he did that, he sent that letter, was because all 3 of the other defendants, the young fellas, they all would take plea deals. That's Jacory, Anwan, and Tieran. They all took plea deals and would agree to testify against Brice. Tieran Coleman got 10 years, Jacory Taylor got 10 years, and Anwan Carter was in fact released in 2019 and put on 5 years probation. And if that be violated, he'd get 20 years. Brice continued to rack up charges in prison for threatening officers, other inmates, and attacking them, and then firing attorneys and filing every single thing he can to prevent the trial from happening.
I see what's going on, you know.
Fair enough. Let's get us a date to come back.
No, you're gonna find out though. You're gonna find out real quick.
Because he knows he's a dead man.
Death penalty paperwork has been filed in the case against Brice Rhodes. Rhodes still doesn't have an attorney. Police say the 25-year-old killed 3 people, including 2 teen brothers in Louisville.
Literally, the death penalty was on the cards for Brice. So that's something to look forward to.
What happens when their facts have been diluted, better yet fabricated? How can I receive a clean-cut trial when the Commonwealth has shown corruption and manipulation?
Here's him accusing the judge of being racist. Or here's him accusing the judge of sleeping with the prosecutor and being in the KKK.
I just want it on record that I'm doing everything on my part.
You can put it on the record,
you know,
at a time that's best for you. But if you think this is the best time,
even though you show favoritism to the Commonwealth, you denied every motion I've ever filed in this courtroom, I'm still gonna, it's my right to file a pro se motion, and it's my right to speak what I need to speak on. I don't know if y'all got some type of sexual relationship going on or what y'all got going on, but I'm definitely gonna speak my mind.
Detective Tatelli and I have no sexual relationship.
Now I'm talking about you and a prosecutor over there, sir. Are you some type of racist? Or y'all got some type of sexual relationship going on? Which one is it?
Or are you just wrong in everything that you've made a motion for?
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
No, sir, I'm
Is that what you really are?
Nope.
Okay. So say less. On to the next subject. Say less.
Or here, blowing kisses to the victim's family.
Can we do a fair trial in Jefferson County? But then another part of it is, if we have a concern, what's the alternative? Because then if we might get into a situation on the law where I'm supposed to weigh the pros and the cons. Ma'am.
Stop it. Look at me.
Ma'am.
He keeps turning.
Ma'am, I told you once before. Let me please help you understand. That's
do what I want to do.
Well,
Let's
do
get
what
that
you want to
understood.
do. That's fine.
Let's get that understood.
Always a lot of drama in the courtroom with Brice. Even this time when Elizabeth Wren, who goes by Marie, the mother of the two boys, lunged at him.
It was a violent, split-second decision.
Lock me up! Lock me up! Lock me up! Let me get to you!
This entire song and dance has gone on for 6 years. The most recent trial was supposed to happen in January 2022, but the judge ordered a competency evaluation for him. He's pretending to be crazy, but maybe he's so crazy he's actually crazy. But no, I don't think that's true. He's completely playing the system. It's honestly impressive, the amount of money he is costing the state of Kentucky. The amount of time and money that has been wasted over the half-decade is astounding. Brice is laughing his whole off in his cell. He's having a great time. Will he ever even get the death penalty? I mean, he's done such a good job of dodging it. It's like his entire plan is to be as annoying as possible so that they'll just be like, here, listen, I can't listen to you anymore. Get out. Just get out. But then on the other hand, it kind of makes makes them probably want to nail him even more just to like prove a point. His trial will most likely be next year in 2023. That's if there aren't more delays, which there probably will be. God bless his attorneys, is all I have to say.
So say less. On to the next subject. Say less.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here with me. I hope you found this story as wacky and crazy as I did, which is why I wanted to show it to you. Here, listen, I'll see you as always real soon in the next old video, but until then, you know it. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, because I love you. Mike out.